and welcome to The Champions. I am Monalisa Dube, and in this program, we profile high individuals that have made an impact in their various strides in the various spheres of influence. My guest today is Oswell Binha. He is the founder of Orac Systems, and he's also an engineer, and he's going to be sharing with us his journey. Thank you so much for making time to have a chat with us, Oswell.
Thank you, Monalisa. Thank you for having me.
All right. So we want to know more about your journey. Tell us where it all started and how it all started.
Well, I think that's a mouthful. Orac Systems is a company founded in 2003. It was a business I founded out of a toolbox.
A toolbox?
Apparently, I'm a mechanical engineering technician. In some circles, an apprentice-trained class 1 fitter and turner, or a journeyman as it were. Sometime in 2000, I decided no, I didn't want to work anymore. A lot of experiences with my former employers then, and with my toolbox, then I started going around.
Work anymore or work for someone?
Work for someone anymore. But be that as it may, because right now, when you found a business, you work for the business.
Right.
And that business is a legal persona. So you still are working for someone as much as you would have decided, no, I'm not going to report for duty elsewhere. But yeah, Orac Systems is a maintenance engineering company, basically doing maintenance in production, mining, manufacturing sectors. It was founded basically to do, you know, the engineering well-being of your process plants. We started with materials handling as a major driver of our product range. Your conveyor belting, your conveyor structures. Right. Now we've put in a lot of fabrication work, a lot of fitting work. We basically the custodians of your manufacturing plant, as it were. On
Any manufacturing plant, do you have specific industries that you work with? Mining,
platinum, gold, chrome, all those process plants we design, we manufacture, we maintain, we do plant improvements. Your manufacturing industry, cement, yeah, we are quite active in that area. We also do food processing industry, agro-processing industry, even as far as farmers themselves. We design some of their sheds, some of their materials handling on the farm before they send their product to the market. So yeah, that's our forte.
Right. So I'd like to know what was really going on for you to say, you know what, I'm done being an employee for someone else and I need to start my own entity, like you said. What was the thought process? What triggered it?
Look, I became very mature at a very tender age. My responsibilities were beyond my qualifications then. And
you need to really explain.
Yeah. For example, you become an engineer for a mine when you are just apprenticeship trained, you are not a degreed engineer.
Right. So
you get the responsibilities not only to manage the mine equipment, but once you become the mine engineer, you are looking at the 360 degrees of a mine life. Your employees, stakeholders around the mine, safety issues, and many other things around that mine. So from that tender age, I became so mature that I felt that I was ripe to actually come up with a process that I will design, manage, and benefit the broader communities around Zimbabwe.
So that's what happened for you to get there. So walk us through the process of actually creating your own organization. Now, obviously, with your line of work, for people to engage you, they need you to prove how experienced you are, etc. So how did that go for you?
My bank account was minus $1,684.
You were actually on the minus balance.
Correct. Like I indicated, I had my toolbox. So the first thing I did was to go and sell my competencies. went to a customer, then it was Super Sense. I sold my competencies. This is what I'm able to do, but I could not provide all the raw materials for the jobs I could be able to do for them. So they gave me an opportunity, bought all the raw materials, and I started working for them, invoicing them for my labor. And that's how the company started.
What do you think made them have faith in you as a young person at that age, and you're approaching them and just saying, oh, I don't have this, and they're just believing in you? What's the secret of having people believe in you when everything around you is not even testifying to your benefit?
There are three things, Monalisa, in a person's life. The first thing is that there are people that actually listen to you as you pitch yourself the first instance you meet them.
Right.
But the second thing is that some people, you will have met them through your life journey, maybe training, maybe your previous work experiences and contacts, and others, it's more or less referrals to say that there is somebody competent in this area and you're having these challenges, that person can be able to deal with you. So what young people must do immediately is to put something very costly in front. Very costly if you don't manage it well. It's called integrity.
Right. All right, so let me take you back a bit, right? You spoke about how you were, for lack of a better word, you got a bit frustrated working for someone, and you wanted to work for yourself and have your own business. But obviously, there was a journey that you had traveled before that, before you actually even started working. So tell us about it. Where did you grow up? How did you grow up? Where did you study?
I'm a son of a lasher. My father is a standard mine lasher. His qualification is lashing rock underground and making sure that that rock goes somewhere for it to be processed. I had a life between my father's workplace, which is a mine, and my father's homestead, which is our rural home in Nyazura, near Rusape. I'm the only child of my family, and a father of 6 now. Tell you what, one of the biggest problems in entrepreneurship is to break the barriers. With that background, you face a lot of resistance in many areas.
What sort of background is this?
Where you are actually a person really within confines of poverty.
Right.
That's what I can say. Your best on Sunday is your uniform at school. You got one pair of shoes and so forth and so on. And with that orientation, with that upbringing, it's so difficult to really break that, to start becoming somebody who manages some level of cash flow, some level of process.
Because of lack of exposure?
You don't have that exposure. You actually hardly eat 3 times a day. So I am from that background. My best friend is my father, and my parents are the most important persons in my life. Why? Because, growing, and fortunately I'm still with them, and I celebrate that a lot. But in a family and you grow up to getting old with only one child, it's a serious sacrifice. So with that, I think one of the motivations was that I needed to do something for my parents.
For all the sacrifices they made for you.
Exactly. I needed to have them there with a better life after all. I could look around and see others doing it for their parents, doing better and all that. So that is really what triggered me to work so hard. So when I founded Orac Systems, by the way, Orac Systems is Oswell Binha Rubber Lining and Conveyor Systems, Oswell standing for Oswell Binha. When I founded Orac Systems, the first thing was I just wanted to work, give my parents food, pay school fees for the children.
The basics.
That's all I wanted, because I was not going to write another application letter to look for a fittest job.
How would you say that this background from growing up in Nyazura and this racial issues that you're highlighting, that background, how has it contributed to who you are today?
No, it takes a certain persona from who you originally were and gives you a very thick skin to deal with some of the challenges.
Right.
Okay, the first thing is that you need to troubleshoot your environment. What's happening around you? And once you...
So you need to have an honest conversation with yourself.
Not even in business, as an individual.
Right.
Go into your bedroom, face your mirror, talk to yourself, and be very, very brutally honest with yourself.
Right.
So you then do a serious conversation and understand really what you are today, what you want to be tomorrow, and how you will get there.
Right.
So at that point, my only obsession was I needed to feed my family, my father, my mother, my children, and all. That was my obsession at that point. But look, God works wonders. I got much more than I had bargained for, because the company started to grow. I was the first employee. I had 2 other employees, 3 other employees. Now I'm talking about 100 permanent and maybe 300-400 with contractors.
We have so much to learn from you, Oswell. Right now we need to take a quick break, and then thereafter we'll continue with the conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you for staying with us here on The Champions. I'm Monalisa Dube, and before we continue our conversation with our guest today, Oswell Binha, I would like to acknowledge our sponsors for this program. We have Rostam Properties, Adam Bede, Cresta Lodge, and also by NOMI for making it possible to speak to champions like Oswell here. Now, before the break, you were telling us about your life story, your journey, and how you actually started Orac Systems. Now, I would like to know, I know earlier on you highlighted how you are into production, into different sectors of the economy. What exactly do you offer? What are the products and services that you offer as Orac Systems, and to whom?
Orac Systems is an engineering company. We do designs, manufacture, and install process plants.
Right.
Our bigger driver of revenue is conveyor structures, materials handling in general. But we've come up with another innovation of late, which is our Orac paver. I invite you to come and sample that. Absolutely.
Thank you for the invite.
Sure.
I'll come.
And we are headquartered in Harare, in Bluffville Industrial Park, with branches in Zvishawane and Selu. Our expansion program wants us to establish in Bulawayo or re-establish in Bulawayo. And it's something
you were once
that,
based there at some point?
Correct. We were in Bulawayo and Kwekwe. And we are hoping by end of year, the Bulawayo branch would be ticking. We provide solutions and troubleshooting to the broader aspect of process plant efficiency, spillage control, and many other energy-saving solutions in terms of your materials handling processes. We manufacture conveyor belt idlers. We manufacture conveyor belt idler frames, cleaning systems, transfer point management systems, as it were. This is an opportunity we found lacking in this country at the time we formed the company, because it was offered by multinationals whose inclination was you needed to provide a drawing for them to be able to assist. Ours is tailor-made per customer.
Right.
We can come to the site and offer solutions in situ. And that has worked for most of our customers. But we also do a lot of training. Mechanical engineers, fitters and turners, boiler makers, electricians. On the administration side, we do a lot of finance, accounts, marketing. So we've gone to a stage where now we are actually benefiting the community within the whole package of the business that we are running. We run a bursary for underprivileged children, especially those that have lost parents but they've got potential. Yeah, we made a decision that 60% of the beneficiaries should be girl children.
Nice.
And we are celebrating this year one of our products at 15 points at a rural school.
Nice.
And we are certainly going to see that girl through to university.
So just take you back a bit. When you say manufacture, you are doing this locally?
Yes, it's actually an import substitution process. One of our customers, one of the big platinum mining groups, recognized us and placed us under their local enterprise development process. What does it mean? It means they are dedicating a local order book to what they normally import. So they handhold us in terms of producing the quality of the spares that they need to use. So out of that, we then established a factory that would manufacture those products locally to ensure that they minimize imports of some of the products that we are capable of manufacturing.
And I think that's very significant, especially in this economy where we're trying to save as much foreign currency as we can and not spend too much. Do you think, though, there is enough recognition from like policymakers, like authorities, in the work that your company does, or just in the work that entrepreneurs do? Is there enough recognition? Are you being robbed in enough in some of these targets? Like you said, it's a target for the whole country. Everyone in the stakeholders have a contribution towards that.
Yeah. Maybe I would be a bit rude and say, with your permission, business is not charity. I think when you get to know that this is the direction national policy is taking, innovators and entrepreneurs start to think seriously and critically how they can then make products and services that will support the broader national policy. So we are not going to have somebody who's going to stand in First Street and start ringing a bell to say that, hey, there is now $12 billion. Now you guys come here and do this. No, no, no. At enterprise level, you come back to your drawing board and you then start to, streamline your activities in line with the direction to which the biggest order book is going to come. Are we recognized? No. I think Zimbabwe needs to do more in celebrating their high achievers in entrepreneurship. We worry when so much contribution is coming from these entrepreneurs, but very little is celebrated about them. I'll tell you, as somebody
who is demotivating, right?
It is, and really.
So obviously, I think that can be what you can cite as one of the challenges that you have faced as an entrepreneur. What else would be some of the challenges that, as a growing, as a local business, that you have been facing as Orac Systems?
There are generics, Monalisa. There are some challenges that everybody faces. You know, there's not adequate power for you to be able to plan your manufacturing processes appropriately. There are labor issues on a daily basis. There are numerous market-related constraints in your customers that are eventual off-takers of your products.
Right.
But on a personal note, I think I have seen serious constraints in terms of forward planning of the business. Monalisa, when you start a business and you registered in 2003, it's still operating today. It has gone through all the effects of business you can think of since then, including hyperinflation.
Right.
But we're still standing. There are certain areas where government has to come directly to our banking institutions and put up some incentives that will afford us an opportunity to continue
capital.
Financing our innovations,
Right.
increasing our capacity, and expanding our markets. At this point, it's more expensive for me to export than to sell locally. There are too many constraints.
Right. So, but despite all of this, Oswell, you have managed as Orac Systems to scale up as a business, and I know that you said that since the inception of your company, you've had to deal with a lot of stages in the Zimbabwean economy. What do you think it is about your company that has made you stand the test of times, which a number of other companies, local companies, failed to do in this environment?
We are not static, Monalisa. We are not stale. We are moving with the time. What has happened is that when we started the company, it was more rubber lining and conveyor splicing, basically. But right now, we are actually developing innovations around the conveyor structure itself, designing it, manufacturing components, maintaining the existing plants, ensuring that those plants that are at a level of fatigue are put to a level of new life. So you are not static. And also, you can't operate as a government ministry in a context where bureaucracy is at the core of decision making. You need to be having decisions on the go. You need to use current technologies to continuously develop yourselves. And lastly, most entrepreneurs fail their companies because they become the ceiling to the growth.
How so?
I am a standard fitter, and I am the most senior guy at the company. So if I remain a standard fitter in perpetuity, I become the stumbling block to progress. So what you need to do is to continue renew yourself. So I did the first degree, I did the second degree, I did a third degree. Now I'm nearly completing my fourth degree. What does it mean? It means when you deploy resources within the system that works for the good of the company, you are not threatened by their qualifications or their professional aptitudes, because you know you are moving forward on the ladder.
And also you're not stifling the younger generation that is coming up.
In actual fact, if you come to our team, we have got a program which we call manager development program.
Right.
Every manager has got a subordinate that they grow into their position for the future. Not necessarily that they are going to replace them, but to make sure that whenever they discuss progress in the organization, they are looking at the same dashboard.
Right.
And that is a deliberate process. So yeah, we encourage, and personally, I'm so passionate about personal development. You know, God gave me a privilege. Beyond running Orac Systems, I've been associated with many organizations in the country, in the region, in the continent.
Right.
So that can only come if you have some level of appreciation of certain components of discussions that have got something to do with your business.
So that you stay relevant,
in the context of
Yes, we'll continue this conversation. I know you have so much nuggets that you're going to share with us, especially in the third segment, as we focus on how you can assist other young entrepreneurs that are coming up, and then we can pick it up from there. And we also want to continue thanking our sponsors. We have Rawson Properties, Dube, Cresta Lodge, as well as by NOMI, that have made this conversation possible. We'll see you in the third segment. Thank you for staying with us here on The Champions. I'm Monalisa Dube, and before we continue our conversation with our guest today, Oswell Binha, I would like to acknowledge our sponsors for this program. We have Rawson Properties, Dube, Cresta Lodge, and also by NOMI for making it possible to speak to champions like Oswell here. And obviously, because of the work you've done, earlier on we spoke about contribution in the sector. There are people that are watching and they've recognized you and they've put you in various boards to represent certain interests. So what are some of the, in your journey, what is it that you've learned about the importance of leadership? Because it's not just about running the company, it's about actually providing leadership. I know there's a difference between leadership and management. So why is it important for someone to have a hold of leadership when they are in charge of a company?
Thank you, Monalisa. It's a mouthful again. Believe you me, when you are a founder and a promoter of a business, you are a knowledge haven. I have indicated that entrepreneurs must continuously develop themselves. And the contribution to humanity is not only ring-fenced to the enterprise that you are running. It's also recognized by other entities. And these entities would then request you to be part of them in terms of also achieving their ultimate objectives. You are asked to come in and contribute in a number of ways, especially to do with your areas of expertise. My first degree is marketing. I'm an economist. And in that manner. Publicly, I've been associated with Zimbabwe National Chamber of Commerce as a president. I'm the chairman of the Board of Governors for the Roundtable. I've been president of the Association of SADC Chambers of Commerce and Industry. I've chaired the Pan-African Chambers of Commerce and Industry among those business member organizations. Public companies, I've been associated with a couple. Private companies, I'm associated with a couple.
What is it about you that you think that draws all these organizations, institutions to you?
Well, I think I cannot answer on those that invite me, but I think I put my best, my ultimate best in whatever portfolio you deploy me. That's number one. Number two, I think in terms of integrity, you need to be honest in anything that you do. I remember at some point I was a chief adjudicator in one of the regional awards. You find that because some of the individuals and companies are so obsessed with winning awards, they try by all means to find a way of influencing the process of adjudication. So with that, you need to stand your ground,
right,
regardless of the pressure. And again, you need to be able to express yourself in a manner that satisfies the stakeholders that you are supposed to be serving. Mm-hmm. These may be internal stakeholders or external stakeholders. You need to be able to factually represent in a manner that gives them satisfaction.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know throughout the program you've been sharing nuggets and knowledge here and there for young entrepreneurs or people that are wishing to venture into business. And something that I found really interesting that you mentioned earlier on in the program is how there is need for entrepreneurs to be in tune with what the country is doing, rather, like what the economy is doing, to be knowledgeable. So what else as advice can you give someone who might want to venture into entrepreneurship, maybe in your field or in a non-related field?
Let me say it in general. Monalisa, once you become a promoter of a business, it's automatically leadership. The decisions at enterprise level can create or destroy countries, create or destroy humanity. So the first thing you must do is you must understand the nuggets, the nitty-gritties of running the enterprise.
Right.
It's not an issue of learning the product. It's an issue of having passion to continue developing the product. It's not always a heaven out there. There are ups and downs. So you need to commit yourself to developing that product, and it becomes your second name, by the way. That's number one. Number two, I've already said it. Don't become a ceiling to your growth, to your own growth. Open up, read widely, interact as much as you can, create credible circles so that you can continuously develop yourself. Number three, when you start on a correct footing. When you do your foundation of the business, make sure you accommodate what is regulatory allowable, what is socially required. By the way, businesses have to get a social licenses to operate. Getting social license to operate, it means even those people that are in the locality who have no business in the day-to-day running of your business are an interested stakeholder.
Right.
So you need to accommodate their interests and make sure you strike a balance between your performance of the business and their interests in terms of what they want to see within their environment. And lastly, theft is theft by any name. If you want to run a proper business, you cannot train your subordinates gymnastics of outdoing systems anywhere. You cannot run a business that is a conduit to siphoning resources from any other institution. So it should be inbuilt within the leader of that business to say that this is a red line. We can only be able to provide responsible service. And that's it.
So one of the issues that a lot of young people highlight when they want to start a business, entrepreneurs, they talk about how they lack capital, right? And they feel like this lack of capital is standing in the way of their dreams. How best would you advise them to proceed?
I started the business with a negative balance of $1,864. And for me, if anyone comes to me with capital being a hindrance, yeah, it will not ring too many bells in my mind. Actually, on a 32-line exercise book page, capital should be the 32nd item, as far as I'm concerned. You need to know what you want to do. You need to package it to make business sense, and you need to be able to sell it to get people to buy into what you want to do.
Right.
And that then becomes capital. Most of the people, actually I was talking to a young man before I came here. Most of the people who come up with projects, capital is number one requirement. No, it's wrong. Capital is one of the many requirements you need But the first thing is that you need to define what you want to do. Do you know it? Do you love it? Can you execute it? Once you do that, somebody else will come and buy into your idea.
Right. So speaking of selling, how would you sell Orac systems to someone who doesn't know about it in, say, a minute?
Look, Orac Systems is a wholly Zimbabwean-owned company. Actually, it's a family business now. We are experts in materials handling solutions. Where you talk about conveying of material from design stage to actually maintenance, we are the experts. Actually, we are the experts in the country. We put together 35 years experience of engineering prowess into materials handling.
Right.
We have actually also put in place a number of support products to ensure that we give your plant 99% availability. At the end of the day, you need to work with somebody who works for you, not somebody that you work for. So Orac Systems does just that.
And how do people get in touch with you to get your services?
We are located in the Bluff Industrial Park, 32 Kenmark Crescent. But in Bluffville as well, we are situated at 86 Lorraine Drive, where we have two of our factories, one for pavers and the other one for idlers and idler frames, the general engineering side. Our telephone numbers, 310086 in Harare, www.oracsystems.co.zw is our website, and we are on all social media as Orac Systems.
Thank you so much. That was Oswell Binha. He is the Orac Systems Chief Executive Officer. Appreciate your time with us here on The Champions.
It's a pleasure. It was good to be here, and thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much to our sponsors, Rawson Properties, Adam Bede, by NOMI, as well as Cresta Lodge for providing the location for us to have our interviews. We appreciate your support to make those interviews possible. And we'll be back again on The Champions next week.